Hey, 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 I am Valerie Luttrell, and welcome to the Single, Saved, and Dating Show. Hey, 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 it's Valerie Luttrell, and welcome to the Single, Saved, and Dating TV Show. I am so glad to see each of you. For those of you that are in my live audience, welcome, 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 welcome. And to those that are watching from your homes or from your phones, wherever you're watching from, thank you so much for joining. So what this segment will be about today is that we're just going to talk about some questions and answers. So oftentimes I will ask you to send questions that you might have, and I will do the very best of my ability. This is a disclaimer now, right? My answers that I give to you are based upon my experience, and sometimes I will refer to biblical references when I'm giving you answers. But for the most part, everything that you do is your choice. Okay? So to the live audience here, I just kind of wanted to just talk, and we have some open dialogue before we get into some of the questions that I have available here for us. But I want to kind of talk a little bit about some frustrations, right? When you're single, saved, and dating, like what are some of the frustrations that you might experience in this season that you're in? I know for me, one of the struggles that I have some concerns with from time to time is that when you don't have that companion, like when you're having a good day or a bad day and you want to pick up the phone and share that with someone and you want that confidant that you can talk to. Yes, we do have the Lord. Absolutely. We can call on him anytime. He is ready and waiting. But there are some times that I wish that there was somebody I can pick up the phone and call other than my family. Does anybody ever experience that? Am I alone in that? So what are some of the frustrations that you all have here in the live audience in being single and saved and dating, or not dating, but being single and saved? Anyone?
I would definitely say that one of my frustrations is inconsistent men.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard when you're trying to seriously date someone, but they're not as serious as you are.
Yeah.
So they come in and they come out because it's not really fair to you. So I would say that's probably my biggest frustration with dating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that. You desire to have someone that's consistent, because sometimes if you're not getting that consistency, then you start kind of questioning, well, is there someone else? Is this person really serious about me? And so consistency definitely is important when you're dating. You don't want to feel like someone has 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or they have the ability to pick you up and put you down, at their leisure, right? So yeah, definitely consistency. I can see that being a frustration. Anyone else here in the studio audience that would like to share? Anyone?
How to deal with being encouraged to date someone that you don't really have an interest in, and not wanting to waste their time. And so I always ask, do you or do you not, when you don't foresee a future with that person?
Yeah. And I guess I would say to that, like, if you already inherently know that this is someone that you really probably wouldn't have a future with, I wouldn't recommend wasting your time, right? Even in their time too. Because one of the things, like, Lord bless me, I'll be 42 years young as of tomorrow. One of the things I don't want to ever do, is waste my time. So if I already know this is not someone who I see that has the potential to lead me, to cover me, someone that I can be submissive to because of the will of God that's on his life, I'm not wasting my time. But that definitely, I can see that being a frustration with not knowing, where they're coming from. And I guess the thing that you have to remember is, well, what is it that I want? right? Put yourself first as the priority. What is it that I want? Do I want this relationship, right? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So let's go into some of the questions that I have. So this question is, how do I know if someone really loves me? I think the easy answer to that is love is what it does, not what it says. Many people can show you or tell you, I love you. Oh, I love you so much. But what does that love look like? Do they show up for you when you need them? Are they giving of their time to you? So I always feel you would know someone that really loves you by their character and what it is that they show you, not just what they tell you. Does that make sense to everybody here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So another question is, how do you combat days when you desire to be with someone? I think that the desire is natural. Like God put us here to procreate and to be with someone. So I think desire to want to have a mate, I think that's natural. And I don't know that I would necessarily even combat those days. The thing that I would say is that we always have to be mindful of how we're feeling. Like, what is it that's going on that's causing us to feel that we need to combat that wanting? There's nothing wrong with desiring a relationship. Sometimes it's easy for us, like on TV. You see on TV that, you see couples, or you're out in your community, you see couples, and we naturally have a desire. Wow, I want that relationship. I wish I had someone to be with. That's pretty natural. But I would be careful as to what are we watching? What are we seeing to let those emotions arise within us? So I don't know that I would necessarily combat it because, again, it's natural. It's a natural feeling to desire to be with someone. The next question is, what is your take on online dating sites? So I would say to that I don't feel that there is nothing wrong with online dating. I will say to always govern and be mindful, just as when you're meeting someone face to face, if you meet someone at a gas station or you meet someone at church, be mindful of how much you give of yourself to a complete stranger. It's just like we tell children, don't talk to strangers. So this person is still a stranger until you get to know them. So if you are interested in online dating, or you are participating in online dating, be mindful of where you go, whether or not, if it might not be dinner, maybe you can have coffee, or be mindful of inviting people into your home as well, because again, you don't know who this individual is. So definitely take your time. But I don't see anything wrong with online. Do you guys see anything wrong with online dating?
No.
Anybody have any apprehensions about online dating in the room?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So what are some of your apprehensions, or one of them?
It's pretty much the same, but a lot of guys are on the websites looking for sex.
Mm-hmm.
Just being honest.
Yeah.
When they approach you, their approach is not to get to know you, but to get inside of you, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So that's my apprehension. I would rather not take that route. That's just my personal experience.
Sure.
There are some people I know who've had great experiences
Mm-hmm.
with online dating, but it just hasn't been my experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for some people, that's your apprehension, and you feel like online dating is not for me, and it may not be for everybody, right? But if you are online dating, there are some folks out there who that's what their mission is to do that. And what God teaches us is that we should refrain from sexual activity before marriage. So definitely just keep that in mind. So if there are going to be folks out there, you're going to have those tests that will come, but you have to be in a position in Christ that you're able to pass that test. So here's a question. Should I date multiple people at a time? Personally, I don't. Now, someone might be saying, well, you know what? I'm dating and I'm older and I don't have that much time. I need to hurry up and find a mate. And someone may have that thought. But for me, I think it's important when you're dating someone, you have the ability to spend that time and get to know that particular person. I'm one of those people, I can't be 50% over here, 50% over here, and expect that I'm really going to get to know someone very well. You're investing that time, and so is that individual. He's investing or she's investing time into you. And so dating one person at a time gives you that full view, gives you that full focus, so that, hey, I can see better if I'm only dating one person at a time. I might miss something if I'm dating multiple people at a time. So personally, I would only date one person at a time because it gives me that leeway to really stay focused on that one particular individual. The next question is, do you think it's okay to cook for the person you are dating? I think it's okay. Now, I don't believe, the caveat to that is, I don't think you should be cooking every day. Because when you're dating, you're doing just that. You're dating, you're collecting data, but that doesn't mean that you now want to cook every day. You want to wash and fold clothes every day. You want to babysit his children or her children every day, because now you're providing the benefits of a marriage. So you want to be careful not to do too much of that. But it's okay to, cook for your mate if you're dating and you say, hey, you know what? Especially during COVID, if you're dating and you know this person well, you've been dating for months on end or whatever your situation is, I don't think there's nothing wrong with, inviting someone and cooking for them when you're dating. So now, does anybody think it's something wrong with cooking for dating or have any apprehensions about doing that? No? Do you guys love to cook? Yes, okay. Well, see, I'm one that really doesn't like to cook. But anyway, for someone that you're dating that you really like, I would be willing to cook. So yes, there's nothing wrong with cooking for someone you're dating. So this is a good question. When do you think it's a good time to invite someone into your home while dating? The reason why I say it's a good question, because depending on your situation, you may have children at home. You wouldn't necessarily want to just automatically invite someone into your home. Your home is your peaceful place. It's your place of serenity. And so you have to be mindful of who's coming into your home, especially if you don't really know the person. So take the time to get to know them. I won't put a time frame on it. I won't say 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. You will know internally when it's okay, when you feel comfortable to have that person in your home. This next question is, I'm recently converted. I'm recently a converted new Christian, but I still enjoy having intercourse before marriage. What should I do? I think that, so in that, and I'll take my time on this one. When you become converted, when you tell, you make your plea that I'm saved and I believe in Christ Jesus and He's my Savior, for some, deliverance comes automatically. That doesn't happen for everyone, right? Sometimes deliverance is a process. Just because you've made that statement doesn't mean that you may not fall at times. This is why God grants us repentance. So when you're in that deliverance process, it's important for you to understand that sometimes I may make a mistake. And if you make a mistake, you get up and you pick yourself up. But as you get closer to Christ, once you get closer to Christ, things begin to start looking a lot different for you. So I'm not going to ever condone intercourse before marriage. Did I do it? Absolutely. We all have that deliverance process that we have to go through. So before my deliverance, I was you, whoever this person is that sent this question. But over time, when you get to know Christ and you develop that personal relationship with Him in an intimate way, you're not even going to desire to lay with someone that's not your husband or your wife. Okay, so this question is: can you date someone who is unequally yoked? Well, the Bible definitely tells us that we should be equally yoked, right? But what do you guys think about dating here in the studio audience? What do you think about dating someone who is not in the same religion that you are, or who doesn't believe spiritually the way that you do? What do you guys think about that here?
I think you're going to meet challenges. I think in a relationship, automatically there will be challenges, but that would be an automatic adjustment that you would constantly have to make. And I just think that it just adds a dynamic to the relationship that people should really consider strongly, before engaging in that, because you're going to already have relationship issues, but that's just an automatic.
Yeah, because I remember, when I was dating, my ex-husband and I, we went to church all the time. And I'm thinking, ooh, I got a man of God. And now I was not where I am spiritually now. But years ago, I was searching for Christ. And I was thinking that church was the way that I got close to Christ. And I really wasn't in tune to my spirituality. I was more in tune to the religious things of the church and following a program and just not honing into my personal relationship with Christ. But when we were dating, we went to church all the time. But when we got married, I found myself on the pew every Sunday. And I'm like, where's that guy? Where's that guy? And so for me, it's very important that in that dating season, that we're in, that you collect that data and you watch the character, because people will appear to have a relationship with Christ. And I do agree with you about it will be challenges, because I can even remember one particular Sunday, God had impressed it upon my heart. Although I had already paid my tithes, he told me to give, and he told me to give a certain amount. And when I wrote the check, I told my husband, I said, hey, can you take my offering up to the front? And he looked at the check and he's like, what are you doing? He was questioning why was I giving so much to the church. But for me, I had to do it. And I said to him, if you're not going to walk it up there, I will do it myself, because I had listened to the voice of the Lord and I knew why God was telling me to do that. And so I did that. But it created some confusion for us after we left church that day. There were many questions, and we had talks about the bills and all these sorts of things, but he didn't understand, because he didn't understand. I grew up in the church. And so I knew the importance of tithing, and I knew the importance of being obedient to the voice of God, but he didn't understand that. And so I do definitely agree with you that it will present some challenges. And what do you do? Like, what if you do if someone else if your husband or your wife is part of a different faith, and they go to a synagogue and you go to a church, which do you choose? Right? Yeah, go ahead.
I would say that first of all, have to take into consideration that you're not going to be dating forever. You're dating to have a spouse eventually. So with that, then the question becomes, when you start to have children, what are you going to be teaching your children, and what do you want to be taught to your children?
Sure.
So the spouse that you have, you want someone who have the same values and same beliefs as you, so it's not confusing to the children. Of course, you will teach them a certain way, and then ultimately it's their decision where they're going to go. But you don't want to confuse them to say, hey, come with me this Sunday, come with that, the other. I think it just places. It opens their perspective, but then again, it's all in what you want to do and what you want to have for your children.
Yeah, and that's so true as a family unit. And you made a good point that you're dating with a purpose. You're not just dating casually. You're dating because I believe that this person could possibly one day become my husband or become my wife. And so in that dating season, you're having those important conversations, and certainly spirituality and religion should definitely be one, because you want to make sure that you're on the same page. In a marriage, there are many, sometimes it's something new every day. Something doesn't matter. It could be good, it could be bad, but there's always something in a marriage. And if you can carve out some of those challenges prior to becoming married, so that you understand that, hey, we have an understanding. We've spoken at length about this subject area, and so it's important to have that dialogue with the person that you're potentially hoping to marry one day. Anyone else have anything to say about that particular question in the audience?
I think it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that's walking that spiritual walk,
Yes.
they're gonna be the ones that's really gonna take on to the importance of it. If they're really walking the walk.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people, they put it on the back burner for the ones that's maybe a Christian, and they're like, well, I'll be with anybody that's gonna be with me.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting it on the back burner because the ones that have a spiritual understanding, they know the importance of it.
Yes.
Because in the end, you're gonna have a person that's gonna either be pulled one way or the other.
Right.
Either they're gonna be pulled towards that person's belief in their walk, or they're gonna pull them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible says, there'll be unequally yoked unbelievers for that very reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you have a foundation. So when it comes like this thing you said about the offering,
Mm-hmm.
you got that foundation and understanding, then if we disagree, we always go back to that foundation,
Yes.
that core belief.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my wife been married 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
When we got together, we both were Christians. We weren't walking the walk that we should be walking.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a core foundation
Mm-hmm.
that says this is what the life we gotta live. This is what we're gonna raise our children. So when so when we got together to get married, it was like, this is what we're doing.
Right.
We had that same belief, that same core thing, and so when we're coming up and getting more into our word and things like that, it was the same drive, the same direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's some very good points. But again, that's the importance of during that dating. Everything is not just roses. We're just dating. We're going out. We're having a good time. My family loves you. I love them. No, have those necessary conversations to make sure the both of you are on the same page. This last question is, I recently met someone who is separated from her husband. Should I date her? No. The answer outright is no. There's no justification for that. Separated is not divorced. That woman is still attached to her husband. And I don't believe that God will give you someone who is currently married, because separated is not unmarried. Does anybody have anything to say about that?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, it is a very, even, I would say this, even as a wife, having been a wife before, if a married man were to come to me to pursue me, it's an absolute no. Not just because of my own values, but I respect his wife and I don't even know her. I have a respect for her as her position as his wife. So I'm not going to one step outside the will of God because of my values and my own spiritual relationship with Christ, but I also respect her as a wife. So we have to always put ourselves, the golden rule when you're growing up was do unto others as you have them to do unto you. And so if you're married, would you want your wife, because sometimes in a separation doesn't always mean final. There might be a period in time where you're married to someone and you figure, okay, we need to do a reset. We need to take a break. We need to go to counseling. So separation is not always final. There's always, I even know some people who were divorced and ended up getting back together, right? So because of that separation, that person is still legally married to that individual. So outright, absolutely not. Anyone have anything to say on that question in the live audience? All right, well, that's our show today. Thank you so very much for joining. Please, if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer here, we will not reveal your name, but send those questions to info@singlesavedanddatingtv.com. Thank you so much for joining. See you next time. Take care.
This episode brought to you by